so far, certainly with the play of Dak Prescott. They look to continue their momentum from last week's thrilling win against the Giants as they get set to take on the Bears in Chicago in an interesting game Sunday. Troy Aikman's been watching Dak play. Here's what he thinks.
I have been impressed with Dak, certainly week one and what he was able to do. And then this last game, he just, he's always had good energy. He's always had good, body language and all that on the field. But in addition to just how well he's played, I just sense that there's a confidence about him in the way in which he's playing that I don't want to say I haven't seen it before, but I just feel like he's really dialed in.
Dak Prescott's an interesting player. When you're the quarterback of the Cowboys, everything you do is so micro-scrutinized that I think sometimes we overlook the obvious. Like, when he's healthy, he plays great and they win. When last seen healthy for an entire season, he was the runner-up for MVP. He's playing great again.
And arguably, this is the best weapons he's ever had. And I think the difference is he has an established running back that when he first got in this league, we had a lot of respect for in Denver that kind of fell out of favor. But,
Javonte Williams.
But also now he has, an answer when you can't, when you double CeeDee Lamb and take him away. Pickens showed up a little bit. He still has to mature. And but Ferguson, he's able to really move the ball. And this isn't a typical brand new head coach, right? Remember, Shotty was the coordinator, so he doesn't have to learn a new offense. So
right.
It's more nuanced than that. He can get into the minutia and the minute details of growing the package because he was in the same system last year.
So the biggest thing for me when it comes to the Dallas Cowboys is their run game. If you go back to 2024, 5 of the 7 teams that made the playoffs in the NFC, they were top 6 in rushing. You can't be one-dimensional in this league. You have to be balanced. The Dallas Cowboys right now, currently, they're 11th in rushing. Javonte Williams has really altered things, but also the mindset coming into the season. Hey, we're not just going to throw the football around. We're going to establish the run. We want to push people around, investing into that offensive line. That was their first-round draft pick this year in the 2025 NFL Draft. The run game is making things drastically different, in my opinion.
Correct.
For the Dallas Cowboys, because Dak Prescott, from my eyes, he's going to play lights out football. But now you add another dimension to that offense, and the offense of the Dallas Cowboys are scarier.
Yeah, I think it's George Pickens, because when you're trying to build a team, it's hard to get 2 corners that are physical enough to match up with CeeDee Lamb. And now on the other side, George Pickens, who has 13 career touchdowns. Look at that catching radius. That was CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah.
But in the red zone, he's already scored a touchdown, but he's created a lot of good matchups for Jake Ferguson as well. So when we talk about Dak playing well, like this play right here, they couldn't do that a year ago. That's why I think Pickens, more than Williams, has been so impactful. Fascinating game.
We've seen the stat all week long that the 2 players who've been the NFC Offensive Player of the Week have both played against the Bears. So does that mean that Dak Prescott's going to do that as well? There's another interesting storyline in this game. We've had a lot of revenge games, and here comes another.
Yeah, last week it was all about Ben Johnson going back in Detroit. How about Matt Eberflus going into Chicago? Eberflus so unceremoniously fired, and really a punchline in Chicago this whole offseason, and how much better Caleb's going to be now that he's finally got a real coaching staff. Eberflus has been the defensive coordinator for the Cowboys in 2 weeks, and they've been lit up in 2 games. I could see Matt Eberflus having a different kind of approach to this game, going up against his former team, and the owners in the front office that blamed him for last year's ineptitude and firing him. I will note this. In his presser, Brian Schottenheimer said there's nothing he would love more than to win that game and to give the game ball to Flus after the game. Not Dak, let's give it to the defensive coordinator who's going to have something ready for Caleb Williams.
That's motivation. We
won for the Flus.
Yeah, we always have that type of protection. Like when you go there, whether it be the Harry Bowl or the TB Bowl or the Rex Bowl, we always had that. That's just the extra juice. That's the mind tricks that head coaches do. Don't fall for that.
But they want to look. You're going to make a bold prediction later this morning about this game. And we're going to get a prediction on the total in a minute here. Without giving away the whole thing, are you expecting fireworks?
Historic fireworks. And neither side, are the old Rick Skyline, Greeny, are the punters even going to be active? Like, this is just 4-down football up and down the field. The big X factor to me is Caleb Williams and what he does. And, we have a tape to show here.
What are you seeing? What have you seen in Caleb
when he holds the ball, Greeny, he really struggles. This is an unbelievable statistic. Since he's been in the NFL, this is from Hembo. They are 1-7 when he holds the ball for 3 seconds or longer. Now look, here's a play against Detroit. Not there, throw it away, run. He's holding the ball, and he makes really bad decisions later in the down. This ball should have been picked off. You can't hold the ball against NFL defenders for 8 seconds. Here's another play. Again, 1 in 7 when he averages 3 seconds or longer. Play's not there, Greedy. His fundamentals break down, and he makes terrible decisions. This is an interception. If you want to be a great quarterback in the NFL, you cannot do that.
This is a work in progress, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
it is.
it's 2 weeks in, Caleb Williams in this offense with Ben Johnson. Are you encouraged by what you've seen from it so far?
So far, yes. Like, he's going to have bumps in the road. And for everyone who's saying...
That's a boulder.
But here's the thing, Mike T. You're talking about a guy who's had 3 play callers in 2 years, 2 head coaches. Strip everything that you've learned about the game of football from the quarterback position before getting with Ben Johnson. So you're going to have those moments. When you try to get an alcoholic to stop drinking, it doesn't happen overnight. It takes time.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you're looking for a little more motivation for the Bears right now, we're just putting it up on the screen. We all like the Cowboys in this game. We'll see what winds up happening. Meanwhile, we'll do an entire more or less based on this game as well. Get me Mr. Fortenbaugh back here. It's brought to you by ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Let's start with Dak Prescott's total, 264.5 passing yards. Joey going more or less?
More. Prescott's been in the league since 2016. His career passing average is about 258 yards per game. So we're really not asking him to do a lot more here. Look at the banged up nature of the Chicago defense. Look at how they've been shredded throughout. Chicago will keep it competitive, which means Dallas will throw for 4 quarters, which means we'll go over the total here.
Okay, and then how about on the other side then? If the Bears are going to keep it competitive, is Caleb Williams going to throw for more than 1.5 passing touchdowns?
This is also a more. The analysis lies in a different quarterback, Russell Wilson, who's been in the league since 2012 and played 218 career games. Last week's game against this Dallas defense was the best passing game of his entire career. That concludes my analysis.
Okay, fair enough. And then finally, Mike T just touched on it. The total in this one is huge. 50.5. Which way do we go?
More, but it feels so easy. It's starting to worry me. I do think Chicago will be able to run the ball early in this game. And if they do, they can grind the clock and keep Dallas off the field, which might give us a better opportunity to bet in game and go over. But the reality is I still think we soar over the total, so more.
All right, if you agree with Joe's picks, we've made them into a parlay for Cowboys-Bears. You can parlay them and find them on ESPN Bet Sportsbook app. And look for the more or less featured parlay on the homepage and in the parlay lounge.
What's up, Cowboys Nation? It's Victor here with Dallas Cowboys Today. And let me tell you, the smoke around the Dallas Cowboys defense just got a whole lot thicker. Micah Parsons is gone, and the question everybody is asking is simple. How do you replace a generational talent like him? Well, according to Marcus Mosher from the Locked On Cowboys podcast, Jerry Jones might already have the perfect answer, trading for Bengals edge rusher Trey Hendrickson. Yeah, you heard that right. Trey Hendrickson, the NFL sack leader last season, could be wearing the star on his helmet if this deal comes together. Now let's lay this out. The proposed trade is actually pretty simple. Cowboys receive Trey Hendrickson. Bengals receive 2026 second-round pick. That's it. No first-rounders, no gutting your future, no sacrificing the pieces you got back in the Parsons deal. And that's where this gets really, really interesting. Because here's the truth. Trey Hendrickson isn't Micah Parsons, but you can argue he's been just as productive when it comes to pure pass rushing. Last season, Hendrickson racked up 17.5 sacks. That's more than Parsons has ever had in a single season, and if you look at the last 3 years combined, Hendrickson has totaled 39.5 sacks, ranking him top 5 in the entire league during that stretch. The man is a machine off the edge. Financially, this makes sense too. Parsons was going to cost Dallas quarterback money, north of $30 million per year on a long-term extension. Hendrickson, meanwhile, just got a raise. And yeah, he's hitting $30 million on the final year of his deal, but he'd still likely be around $15 million cheaper annually if the Cowboys worked out an extension. That's money Jerry Jones can spread across the roster to keep this team balanced. And think about what that means for the defense. Dallas already went out and added Jadeveon Clowney on a 1-year, $4 million deal, but let's be real, Clowney's more of a rotational guy at this stage of his career. You can't count on him to replace Micah Parsons' production. Hendrickson, though, he immediately steps in as your number 1 pass rusher, a guy offenses actually have to game plan against. Now, from the Bengals' perspective, this makes some sense too. Joe Burrow's health is up in the air, and if their season slips away, why not flip a 30-year-old pass rusher in the final year of his deal for a premium draft pick? Cincinnati is staring down a potential reset, and Hendrickson could be one of their biggest trade chips. Cowboys Nation, this would be an absolute steal if Jerry can pull it off. You're telling me we keep the 2 first-round picks from the Parsons trade, we keep Kenny Clark shoring up the middle, and then we add the league's sack leader for just a second-rounder? That's championship-level front office work if it happens. Now let me put my fan hat on here, because you know I always do. Would I rather have Micah Parsons locked up for the next decade? Of course. The guy's a unicorn. But we all know Jerry was hesitant about giving him that massive extension, and if the choice is between paying Parsons $35 million a year and limiting what you can do across the rest of the roster, or flipping him for assets and bringing in a guy like Hendrickson who's cheaper and still dominant, I kind of see the logic, but let's not get it twisted, and this is still a gamble. Hendrickson is 29 years old. You're betting that he's still got 2, maybe 3 elite years left. That's the window Dallas would have to chase a Super Bowl. And Cowboys Nation, I've got to ask you, would you make this move? Would you send a 2026 second-round pick to Cincinnati for Trey Hendrickson, knowing you just lost Micah Parsons, or do you think Dallas should hold on to those picks and build through the draft? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to see where the fan base stands on this one, because it's one of the most fascinating what-ifs of the entire season. And don't forget, hit that like button, subscribe to Dallas Cowboys Today, and share this video with your Cowboys crew, because if Jerry Jones actually pulls the trigger on this move, Cowboys Nation, we might just be talking about one of the boldest trades in franchise history. Go Cowboys!